Majo John Madden on the hill above the stripes where we parked last night on Ruben Torres Boulevard, north end of Brownsville. We love parking up on that hill because it's really private and quiet and ain't nobody gonna hassle us back there except mosquitoes. And in the video I shot last night about the 1619 project and GOP fear of people waking up, I say in the video, well, but there's a nice breeze, so it'll keep the mosquitoes at bay. Sometimes I hate it at night if the breeze drops away, because I got chewed up in the camper van. Chewed up. And it's better. I took some spray I got for my doggy's hot spots and sprayed it all over my arms, and I'm better. So we're walking on this big drainage canal. You find these all through South Texas. And back where it curves back there, two things about it. When you go around the corner, you go from nice housing stock along Old Port Isabel Road to here's my doggy feeling happy this morning. Yeah, woohoo! He's feeling good. He loves it up here. Hunt, 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 hunt. Terrible trailer park. Oh my God. People who are working and who have decent cars, but living in such abject conditions. Latinos. Oh, everybody's Latino around here. But even in Appalachia, right next to white affluence, you find typically very well maintained trailer parks, but people living in single wides. The other thing I found up there was a roseate spoonbill. It's pink. They're big, bigger than an egret, somewhat body like a great blue heron, maybe a little chunkier, and spoon right at the end of their bill. And they're the locals' answer to flamingos. I don't think there's actually flamingos around here, but I've been hearing about these birds forever, and I finally saw, and I'm crazy about birds, finally saw one in Harlingen a few weeks ago, but this one let me walk right up on the bank. I was just like 20 yards away from it. So that was exciting. So, what was they going to talk about? Oh, I'm a big fan of National Public Radio, NPR. God knows through the Trump years and the COVID and everything, we needed good information. And although right-wingers have been brainwashed to distrust NPR, I trust them impeccably. And they are such a major news organization, so many reporters all over the world, and such great shows. And the two main shows are Morning Edition, the news every morning for a couple hours, and All Things Considered for a couple hours in the afternoon. But right in behind that, a show that most of the outlets carry, not all, but I think almost all of them do, is 1A, the number 1 and the letter A, with Jennifer White is the host. And they cover the news, they go into the news stories of the day in depth. And every Friday they do a news roundup. Usually they break it up into national and international. They don't seem to have done that today. It's all about Ukraine, an awful lot about Ukraine. And such good stuff. I was just feasting on it. And Jen White is a master interviewer. Fun, neat black woman. And so smart. And so well read. She's a joy to hear their conversations. And she's always got national, not usually top, like today I think it's someone from New York Times and someone from NPR and someone from some other very major news source. I am fond of that show because I was on it back January 10 of 21. January 10 of 21. You can go into their archives and you'll hear my voice twice within an hour. It's a national call-in show. People from all over the country are emailing and texting and leaving voicemails. And it was a show on mental health, which I have some things to say about. And I had sent them a 19-minute video, which I'll post on YouTube, describing my history around psychiatry. And I left them a voicemail. And then their panel that day, the topic was mental health during the COVID. And their panel that day were a guy who was working for some kind of patients' rights thing to get more funding for mental health, and somebody else who was in some private healthcare thing. And they were all wet. I was really mad. Their whole shtick was more funding for mental health, more funding for mental health. And I just got incensed right away and sent off an email that within 3 minutes got read. Jen read it, and basically I said, no, it's not more funding for mental health. It's more deep understanding of trauma, and that we're all dealing with trauma. And when this guy said 90% of us have a diagnosable mental illness, that's exactly the wrong way to go. Don't diagnose more people. And that's usually more mental health funding means more diagnosis and more treatment with drugs, which happened to me. And yeah, I take it personal. But everywhere I go, people say, yeah, my friends, she's not like she used to be. She doesn't even know how much she's changed on those drugs. So I think it's an epidemic. And to tell someone they've got a mental illness is like the most violent act you can take towards a person. It's crushing to your self-esteem. And for me as a clinical psychologist, it sure was. So I got it. So she read that email, and then later on, as I was furiously typing something else to them, Jen played my voicemail about all this. And I think she just likes outliers. She likes to stir the pot. She wants to widen the envelope. And I was coming from a whole different paradigm from the conversation. So, I really recommend it. Different times in different outlets. 1A, Jen White. And eventually I'll go back and listen to the rest of the show. Okay, bye.